Good afternoon. Welcome to Afternoon Chat. I'm your host, Ghost Mostly. It's Friday. The chat's up and running. How's everybody doing today? What's going on, people? I spent most of the morning stewing over this Guthrie kidnapping thing. It's the main thing on my mind. I think it's really heinous, but I like the fact that there's a $50,000 reward. That might generate some leads. Well, I think that's the purpose of the reward. Okay. Personal opinion, any crime against a senior citizen is particularly heinous. I say that as I am a senior citizen. Yeah. Don't attack old people. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm thinking there should be some way to track these people down. Just by, gleaning the information that they've coughed up. It would seem that they're very familiar with the Tucson area. That would lead me to believe just open a category, delivery drivers. Delivery drivers know if you have a Ring doorbell. They are familiar with the streets in your area. They are familiar with the traffic in your area. That's category 1. Delivery drivers. That would include a mailman. Category number 2. They're going to have to keep her someplace where there's power and water. And they're going to have to feed her. So you're looking for an abandoned house or building that is not without power, but whose power usage has spiked within the last 30 days. That would be category number 2. Category number 3, I would say within a 50-mile radius. I can't see them driving in a motor vehicle with this woman abducted in it in excess of an hour. It would make no sense. Then you're also going to have another category. They have to be able to check on her. They don't want to hang out with her, but they're going to have to be able to check on her. So I would think that in this day and age, they would have set up some cameras that they can surveil her with from another location. I don't think whoever planned this, I don't think they would be a stranger of the family either. Just because you see someone on TV doesn't mean they have millions and millions of dollars. I'm a prime example. I don't have any dollars, and I'm on TV 5 days a week. Now, they got to have some inside information coming from somewhere. That's got to be a whole nother category. To me, you slate as many of these categories and then you cross-reference what fits into all of these categories. I would say a delivery driver, probably a couple of years experience in the Tucson area. Someone that's familiar with the family, probably seen them out in local business establishments, somewhat familiar with Nancy's routine, I would think. Somebody's got to be able to figure this out. Got to get these guys, got to save this woman. That's where my mind is at. I think the final deadline is Monday after the Super Bowl. I'm hoping that they find her quickly this weekend. That's what I've got on my mind. Back in the day, if I were a younger man, I'd head to the Tucson area and I'd start looking up vacant properties that had power. And I'd say within a 50-mile radius. I don't see them driving more than an hour with her tied up in the back of a vehicle. I mean, that's just ridiculous to think that they'd be traveling for multiple hours, crossing state lines. There's too much risk involved. It's just like a drug bust. 95% of the drug busts happen in motor vehicles. If you never take your drugs in a motor vehicle, you increase your chances of success without capture exponentially, in my opinion. What's on your mind? What do you guys want to talk about? Afternoon chat, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The actual guest stars of this show are the people that show up in the chat. They determine what we talk about. That's why I'm asking you what's on your mind. This is a free show. No midstream ads, no sponsors. I'm not trying to sell you diddly or squat. I'm trying to meet people, find out what's on their mind, give them a chance to speak their mind, to share it publicly. We do need to follow the community guidelines that have been established by YouTube, of course. Well, it's the only platform we're on, so let's not piss them off, people. Okay? The only thing you can really do wrong in here is not have a good time. Nobody's required to do anything. I do need to ask people to like and subscribe, but that's YouTube stuff, and it's also free. If you want to be able to chat, you're going to need that Discord app from YouTube, also free. I'm just a guy sitting on his couch in Michigan Okay. What part of the world are you in? What's got your attention today? What are your priorities? Most of my adult life, I lived in Las Vegas, Nevada. I worked in the casinos, in the table games department, dealing blackjack, craps, or roulette. I got accustomed to meeting a lot of people every week. 30 plus years. In my retirement, I kind of missed that. So I've started a chat room so I can continue to meet people, find out what's going on in their part of the world. My opinion, the news media is basically all propaganda now. So I'm going to believe you in the chat. I'm going to take your word for it, what's going on in your area of the world versus watching the news. This show has no script, has no agenda. Okay. I get on here 5 days a week and I'm just winging it. Okay. What happens, happens. What gets said, gets said. And I'm running late. I'm still on Dr. Pepper. I did get a short nap this morning. So what are you guys up to? Big plans for Friday night? I have none. Yes, they smoke cigarettes and pot. I don't recommend you do either. The pot here in Michigan is legal. Well, as legal as it can be, but just because you see me doing something don't mean you should do it. I look at it like this is your proof that I'm not AI. Okay. AI don't smoke. I'll probably fire up Google Maps later and search the Tucson area. There's got to be some abandoned property somewhere within 50 miles. That's my best guess. It's pure guess. I have no knowledge other than what I see on TV. But I'm really worried about this woman. She needs her medication. But I'm thinking, they had to keep her close and they've got to feed her. I'm assuming that they're hitting fast food and bringing it to her every day. I don't think these guys are going to cook her a meal. You know what I'm saying? Someplace with relatively easy access, but still off the beaten path somewhere. That's why I said I'd probably fire up Google Maps later. Well, I'll do something. I generally do something on the computer on Friday nights. Just dinking around. Of course, I could do, business, but not too likely. I'm probably thinking I'll fire up Google Maps and I'll probably come up with a list of locations somehow. There are a lot of things you can use to track down people. I know that. Well, those Ring doorbells it's my understanding that they have a private chat attached to them. It would seem to me somebody knew she had a Ring doorbell. They're probably tapped into that chat. It makes me wonder, has she ever chatted on there? As far as I know, they're like neighborhood centered chat rooms. But these people that took this woman obviously know something about her life and her routine and her home. They busted a floodlight in the back of the house and they disabled the Ring cam. They had to know the Ring cam was there and know how to disable it. That's why it makes me think they probably own a Ring camera. But I'm just guessing. My mind's just wandering. But my concern for the woman is real. I'm definitely going to put her in my prayers. I think the longer they keep someone like this, the less likely they're going to survive the whole incident. I'm wondering, if these criminals would have had cell phones on them, maybe the police could find a cell phone that was pinging on the local tower in the late hours of Saturday night, Sunday morning. It would have pinged for a couple hours and then it would have driven out of the area of that cell tower, I would assume. Probably would have pinged, probably would not have had any phone calls though. But it's just another category. And as far as I'm concerned, once you list enough categories, you cross-reference and you find common ground. And it's going to lead you somewhere. Probably wasting my time, wasting my mental energy, but it interests me. What are you interested in? Is there anybody in the Tucson area watching? Feel free to jump in the chat. That's why it's enabled. When no one gets in the chat, we're stuck with wherever my mind happens to wander on a given day. I had a real exciting week. I think Monday I went off about ICE. Tuesday I went off about the Epstein files. Wednesday, I'm not sure what I did on Wednesday. Probably live and let live. Leave your neighbors alone, that kind of thing. Might have been human rights. Yesterday's show, what did we talk about yesterday? Oh, I was supposed to watch a cartoon last night. I didn't watch. Well, then I owe Ultra Kenny an apology. I told her I'd watch and I didn't watch. My bad. I ended up watching Tragedy Tales. I watched a couple of different episodes of Tragedy Tales. It's in my feed, so I click on it. I do like based on the amount of time, 30-minute, 45-minute videos. I'll watch those, B Squared, welcome back. You wouldn't believe me, my favorite movie, but Transformers. I know. I like the whole concept that your car could be alive. The Princess Bride is a classic, there's no doubt. I grew up watching a lot of Westerns. And I kind of like it when the good guy makes a comeback. So I don't know how that relates to the Transformers, but all of those movies really caught my attention, and I have a tendency to watch them over and over again. But The Princess Bride brought back memories of Errol Flynn. Errol Flynn. You guys are probably too young to remember those, but he was a sword fighting swashbuckler type. And The Princess Bride was right along that genre. But some of the lines in that movies are just classic, I've been mostly dead all day. They cracked me up. And that had Andre the Giant in there. Man, that man was huge. Just huge. I'm a small guy, 5'7". Okay. Some of these guys are really amazing. Jimmy Stewart was good, no doubt about it. People were mean to him. He's suffered from abuse. There were stories of he'd just be out having dinner and people would throw things at him, try to pick fights with him, weird crap like that. Sometimes people can be very abusive. I used to watch a lot of Roy Rogers. He was probably my favorite, followed close by John Wayne, of course. A lot of those old black and white films still hold up today, though. Shane is very popular. I don't know if you remember that. That was Alan Ladd. Oh, yeah. Jerry Lewis was an extraordinary man. What a sense of humor. Yeah. I watched one of his the other day, Support Your Local Sheriff. He had a real smooth delivery. I think the women really swooned over James Garner. Yeah, your sheriff and your gunfighter. Yeah, both were good movies. Yeah, Jack Palance played the bad guy in the gunfighter one. Yep, that's about right. Now, I was born in 57. Yeah, I'm about to turn 69 years old. That just seems so bizarre to me. You said you were what, 27? Oh, 43. Okay. I must have you confused with somebody else. An 80s baby. Gosh, I hope I'm not your dad. Well, in the 80s, birth control wasn't as prevalent as it is nowadays. And I was a bit of a player. Vegas in the 80s was a wild time, let me tell you. I was in my 20s. Yeah, my parents met in high school, and I was there for the shotgun wedding. I was in mom's belly. Well, the 80s were a wild time. I like to tell people back then, I used to tell people, if you want to know what your parents were like when they were young, look up films on Woodstock. Oh, yeah. Small towns used to get rocked a lot back in the day. Well, they should have taught the kids birth control. Shoulda, woulda, coulda, you know. I raised two sons, and when they turned 13, I gave them both condoms and explained to them the facts of life. I'm not sure if 13 was the right age to do it. That's when I decided to do it. I fathered my first child while I was in high school. I did not want that to continue. My father fathered me while he was in high school. Yeah, that was the mantra that definitely did not work. That's why we had a generation that was known as the baby boomers, because that mantra was that bad. Okay. You got kids of your own? Nice. Kids are kids. If you raise them, you're their parent, brother. Love doesn't know boundaries or bloodlines, okay? Love knows who took the responsibility, who was there when the chips were down, okay? Well, you can say that. They'll mature eventually. It just takes time. You give them another 10, 15 years, and all of a sudden you're going to look up and you're going to be proud of them. And you're going to say, God damn, that kid straightened himself out pretty good. That's been my experience, you know. I had two sons 23 years apart. It takes us all a different amount of time to mature. I did not really start to mature till I was 35. And I had my last one when I was 40. I knew what I was doing. I planned that. But up until 35, I was on the sauce, man. I was drinking heavy. Alcohol was more a part of my life than I should be admitting nowadays. I was a blackout drunk from 15 to 35. Just kind of pissed away 20 years of life. I had addiction problems all my life. Started with the alcohol, then I went into cocaine and LSD and speed, and it was ridiculous. I beat them all one at a time. The last one was opioids. After I had my accident and became crippled, the doctors got me hooked on the opioids. Addiction takes a toll. And it's really hard to kick some of those habits. Let me tell you. It was hard for me to stop the cocaine. When I did the cocaine, I could drink like a fish and never get drunk. I thought that it was invented for alcoholics. Okay. All my thinking was wrong. Okay. Probably the toughest one for me to get off of, seriously. I mean, the alcohol, 20 years, that was a long time. But the hardest physically to quit was the opioids. Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's sad. Unfortunately, our society has been in denial about addiction. That's a plus and a minus. Right. I didn't even have to go to the doctor to get more. My prescriptions were refilled automatically. I was taking like 200 pills a month of opioids. Everything from Loratab and Oxycontin. When The last time I saw my surgeon, he actually fanned out 5 prescriptions. And he said, find the cocktail that works for you. Not a smart move. Next thing I know, it was a year later, my prescriptions expired. I went to a new doctor and she confronted me. She says, you're addicted. Yep. Well, they used to get to push these pills, and then the pharmaceutical companies would send them to the Bahamas so that they could go marlin fishing on a free trip. All kickbacks. The pharmaceutical industry is nuts. Healthcare for profit is not a good idea. It is not. It's immoral and it's unethical. Oh, I know. I know. One of my sisters still struggles with meth. She's 6 months of the year she's clean, 6 months of the year she's not. It's sad. But you cannot force someone to get off of drugs. They have to choose to do it. Same thing with alcohol. It's an illness. It really is an illness. I think education helps. If you can show them, if you can teach them that they're destroying their lives. Yes, it has. I 100% agree with you, B. We lost the war on drugs before it ever started. Part of the problem was they didn't do enough research on the drugs. If they'd have done proper research, they would have known that they were addictive. They saw those stats coming up when they started to study, and they said, well, you'll be okay. We'll just skip that addiction part. Don't worry about it. No problem. And it is a detriment to our society on a daily basis. Coming down off the opioids was really hard on my body. It took a physical toll. Getting those things out of my system. Oh. Yep. I know it. I used to see these people in Vegas come in and they were all drugged up. And they'd come and go from my blackjack table, and I remember thinking to myself, that guy's going to crash and burn before he leaves town. This is not going to end well for him. But you cannot force rehab on anyone. They have to want it. And it's the same way. You can't force them to stay clean. I think part of addiction comes from loneliness and insecurity. I smoke every day, pot. By 5:05, this show ends at 5. By 5:05, I'll have a bowl going. As a matter of fact, it's sitting right here on my table, already loaded. I smoke in the evening. That helps me get my appetite, so I eat a good meal. Since I started the show, I basically smoke from 5 until 9:30 at night. 9:30 at night, I put it down. Pot's excellent with nausea. There are two kinds, two strains. You got indica, which is really good for physical pain. It doesn't get rid of the pain. It makes you not care about the pain. Sativa, mind stimulating. I like the sativa when I'm trying to write a book or I'm trying to be creative in some way, music, lyrics, that kind of stuff. It does. When I was younger, I used to wake and bake. Okay. I don't do that anymore. Part of being a senior citizen is you learn to stop doing the things that are detrimental to you. Yes, it can stop it as long as you're in a controlled environment. Environment's very important when it comes to smoking pot. If you're in a chaotic environment and you smoke pot, you're going to get caught up in the further chaos and it's not going to alleviate your stress. It could delay it, but it could also increase it. You got to be in a controlled environment, B. Okay. My oldest son doesn't smoke at all, has no interest in it. My youngest son, he'll smoke when he's going to go and do something social. I think it helps him with his anxiety and helps him talk to people more. He's rather reserved. Anybody that's got their head together and is on a secure path moving forward with their life, I don't begrudge them their choices when they do decide that they want to something. The problem, I think, is most of our society wants to self-medicate every day, day in and day out. Yeah. Well, alcohol is a depressant. Yeah, that's not good. He's got to outgrow it. He probably needs a sober girlfriend. Yeah, there are a lot of functioning alcoholics. And that whole bar scene, as far as the workplace, that's tough. there's a thing going on. I just saw it where the parents are putting up an online profile for the kid, and then they're selecting who they swipe right and who they swipe left on. I have never tried to do such a thing with one of my children. Okay. I can't say that I recommend it. I'm just telling you that I saw a news blurb on it. Marriage, that's a whole different animal on its own, in my opinion. There's connotations that come with marriage that I disagree with. If marriage is so good and so positive, why isn't a prenuptial agreement part of marriage, of every marriage? My first marriage, I was drunk. I mean, literally drunk. I'm married 3 times, divorced 3 times. But if you're the parent of any child, blood or stepchild, if you're a parent, I think that gives you a right to talk to your child about who they're dating, what type of person they're looking for. Whether they want to hear your opinion or not. I think the fact that you're a parent gives you a right to talk to them about it. I'm not saying arranged marriage. I'm just saying, wouldn't you be better off with a girl that's not a stripper? Or wouldn't you be better off dating a guy that had a job? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, sister. Boundaries were really hard for me when I was young. I did not understand boundaries at all. I didn't want any boundaries. I didn't want any restrictions on my own behavior. That's part of being an adult, right? Is you've got to be able to clean up after yourself. Otherwise, you're living in a pigsty. And you've got to be able to hold down a job. You've got to learn to be reliable and learn to be dependable, right? You're on the right track, okay? You seem to have it pretty together. Yep. Yep. Teach him to cook, teach him to clean, and teach him to handle money. Real important factors. I recently had a discussion with my youngest. He's 28. I had a discussion with him and I asked him, when you go on a first date with a girl, what's the first thing you ask her? He didn't have anything set, no plan. And I said, you might want to get to know who you're dating. He asked me in turn, what would I ask? And the first thing I ask a woman when I go out on a date is, are you a good liar? You need a truthful answer to that question. And her answer is going to tell you where you stand right off the jump. Is she willing to be honest with you when she doesn't know you? And one of the things I tell my kids is watch the way your spouse treats the hired help. Because later in life, that's how your wife is going to treat you. I remember I took a woman to San Diego for a 3-day weekend. We were just dating. And she treated the employees at the hotel we were at, she treated them like dirt. And this was on Friday, I saw this happening. Friday night, we're sitting in a jacuzzi in San Diego sipping some champagne. And she's mistreating the hired help. And I'm like, I got to ditch this girl. And that was on Friday on a 3-day weekend. I couldn't get rid of her fast enough. Let me tell you. She turned me off so bad I didn't even want to have sex with her. And seriously. I'm like, there ain't no way I'm going to have a relationship with this girl. I'm sorry I took her out of town. When we were just dating, she seemed not nice enough. But out of town, she let her guard down and started barking orders. And I'm like, what the hell? I thought she was a sweet little thing. And I'm like, okay, that's the definition of bitch. You've crossed a line. Yeah. Horrible weekend. After I found out about her on Friday night, I didn't want to do anything the rest of the weekend. I was pretty depressed. I couldn't cut it short and take her home. I stayed throughout the weekend, but I was pissed. Poor choice on my part. Shouldn't have taken her out of town. But I did learn about her, and as soon as we got back to town, I dropped her like a hot rock. You know, sorry, honey, this ain't going to cut it for me. I worked in the service industry all my life. And if you're the type that mistreats a server, that's what I saw in the older couples that came up to the tables. She's treating him like shit. He's treating her like shit. And I'm like, how can that be? Why are you guys even staying married? You know? Horrible, horrible people. But you need a spouse that's going to be honest with you, even when it makes them look bad. And that's what I was trying to tell my son. I agree 100%, B. You and I are on the same page. No doubt. But I've also learned with my kids, you really can't pick and choose for them. They're going to date who they're going to date. You can't micromanage an adult. You know what I mean? When they're small, when they're little, you can micromanage and it gives you a lot of control. No, that little kid hit you soon as you guys were left alone on the playground. That's not who I want you to spend your time with. You know? Yep. Well, you got to teach them how to heal. They go out in life, they get hurt, they come running back to you, and you got to teach them how to heal themselves. Because someday you're not going to be there. Parents are a good safety net. My oldest son is having pangs of empty nest syndrome. His daughter is getting ready to go away to college. And he's like, she's been the center of his life. And now he's going to have all this free time. Our society has a set of laws and rules that we all must live within. You got to teach that child to color inside the lines so that when you're gone, he doesn't stray. Responsibilities are key. One of the things I used to do with my kids is I'd turn to them and I'd say, all right, you're in charge. My youngest at 5 years old would spin on me. I don't want to be in charge. I know how to raise boys. It's girls that scare the hell out of me. I have no idea how to raise a girl. I know how to raise boys. Yeah, but at 5 years old, when he spins on you and he says, I don't want to be in charge. Too bad. I used to tell him, go out there in the kitchen and look through the cupboards and tell me what you want me to cook. Counseling is such a great thing. Such a great thing. It helps to give you an overview of what you're doing and the choices you're making. After my last divorce, I put myself in counseling for a year and a half. I highly recommend counseling. Even when life is going good, there's nothing wrong with going to a counselor. Yep. It's necessary in this day and age. There is so much stress on these kids. The peer pressure and the loneliness that they're dealing with. A lot of these younger children are growing up very introverted. They don't know how to interact socially with other people. Yeah. My youngest son just got out of one industry and went into another because of job stress. You don't have to take that shit. Find something else to do that is less stressful. Find something to do that you can leave it and walk out of it and not have to sit there and worry. Stress is killing people all over the planet. And the whole COVID thing made them afraid to go out and meet people, to talk to people. I agree with you 100%, B. %100. But that's what's happening to these kids. And then they get on social media, and social media beats them down. It destroys their self-esteem. Oh, you're fine, B. No one else is in the chat. You're doing good, hon. I love talking to you. I'd like to meet your husband. He seems like a nice guy too. Just from what you've said. I've always met people and talked to people, always been social. And one of the things that I see going on with these younger people is they don't know how to even introduce themselves properly. They're timid compared to my generation, which was, well, extremely open. Yeah. That was my nickname, as I was called the asshole. It's a very stressful time for these young people, that's for sure. I was talking to a guy a couple of days ago that had just gotten dumped, and he was hurting. You know, he was hurting. And it's hard. You've got to be able to heal yourself, repair yourself after you've been damaged. And that's what a broken relationship does to anyone that's in it. It damages them. But I tell my kids, your self-esteem, the way you look at yourself, you've got to cut yourself some slack. I tell them, when you look at yourself in the mirror, the first 5 flaws you see, no one else sees. The first 5 flaws you see when you look into the mirror, no one else sees. They're not close enough. They're not within your circle. So you've got to cut yourself some slack for those first 5 flaws. Build your self-esteem. Get your life on track. And that makes you attractive to others. A successful man is like a light bulb to a bunch of moths. Everyone's going to be attracted to a successful man. Somebody that's got his life together. He's on a path. He knows where he's going. He's building for a future. He's going to be the most attractive man you ever see. Heal first, and then get your life back on track after you've been damaged, after you've been hurt. You don't have to put up walls and not let people in. You don't have to go into self-protection mode. If you're healing yourself, you're protected enough. I can only speak from my personal experience, you know. I've been damaged and I've damaged others. Fact. We all have to heal when we get damaged. It's the same thing if you break a leg, you got to go get it in a cast, right? How are you going to fix your leg if you don't get it in a cast? You can't go into your next relationship with bad feelings from your past relationship. You can't put up walls between yourself and a new spouse based on something that the old spouse did. You've got to find your way past that. The only way past that is to heal yourself. In my opinion. I mean, feel free to jump in the chat and disagree if you want. Add to the discussion if you want. That's why the chat's active. B sounds to me like a good parent and a hard worker. Can I ask how far you went into school, B? How much education do you have? Said you were a service worker. IT, I'm thinking maybe you had a couple years of college. I did not have a couple of years of college, but I learned a lot from dating girls that went to college. I was always looking for a woman that had a lot of the same qualities as my mother. Family oriented, liked to cook, you know. Turns out that was not the answer for me. I probably should have looked for a woman that was like me, a wild child, while she was younger, but then matured and grew up. Nowadays, I don't look anymore. I'm too old for that shit. I turned 69 in about a month. Fortunately, I think I can make it. You never know for sure, but I think I can make 69. 70, that might be a different story. But yeah, I started out as a wild child, left home at 13. I had a very unique life. I spent about 5 years hitchhiking around the country. Eventually settled down in Vegas. Well, if you could call it settling down, I was still wild when I got there. But I think it was having kids that helped me to grow up. It added pressure, it added stress, but I think it helped me to mature. So, what's on your mind? What do you guys want to talk about today? I'm staying out of trouble. We did get up into the 30s today, so it is starting to melt out there, but I'm still not going out in it. I'll give it some more time. We got a foot of snow still on the ground. I'm in Michigan, so 'tis the season for snow. We'll probably get a little bit of warmer weather come March, but I don't expect it to get any higher than in the mid 30s for this month. I enjoy being outdoors quite a bit, and winter's tough, but I take a vitamin D3, and it helps me from getting depressed. I think I need sunlight to keep from getting depressed. Wintertime, there just isn't enough sunlight for me. It was different in Vegas. Maybe I got spoiled. Winter in Vegas, it still gets sunburned. I'll probably watch Tom Grossi tonight if he does Friday night Q&A. I'll probably watch him. I don't know, 7:30, something like that. He jumps up in my feed, so I find him right away. I don't chat with him per se. I like to watch him deal with the people in the chat. He does a good job. I think the guy's funny as hell. If you look up his show Scripted, it's hilarious. My favorite character he does is Wildflower. It just cracks me up. Well, it is Super Bowl weekend. A lot of people heading out of town and, doing various activities, going to Super Bowl parties. I'm not. I'm planning on staying home. I did buy a ham steak. I'm going to make myself a good meal. But, I'm not really making any plans for the Super Bowl. I expect to watch it, and I expect New England to win. But I'm not betting any money on it. Okay. I'm just a football fan. I don't have any inside knowledge. Hopefully, hopefully it'll be a good game. Some of them aren't. Sometimes all that hype just goes up in smoke. The best Super Bowl I ever had was in the late '80s. I had put a futures bet into the casino, and then I held a Super Bowl party, and all of my friends came over, and I bet one side in the sports book, and I bet all my friends on the other side, and the score landed in the middle, and I collected from both. I beat all my friends, and I beat the casino. I thought that was the ideal way to spend the Super Bowl back then. It's hard to believe that we're up to Super Bowl number 60. I'm a Lions fan. So the Super Bowl's got to take second place right now. I'm hoping that the Lions will go all out and get Max Crosby from the Raiders. I think it'd be the necessary trade that could put them in the Super Bowl next year. Personal opinion. I don't think they'd have to mortgage the farm to get him. I think that, they can restructure contracts and whatnot as needed. They're pretty smart. Yeah, I'm thinking about cutting off the beard, chopping it a little bit. I don't know. Well, I probably shouldn't stare at it. I think that's why I want to cut it. It's because of all that gray at the end. I look at my hair color and there's no gray in that, and I'm like, hey. A couple of people have suggested that I dye the mustache and the beard, but I ain't doing that. Well, it's too much maintenance. Once you start doing that shit, you got to keep doing it, right? It's like getting a haircut. If I go get a haircut, all I'm doing is setting myself up to have to go and get another haircut. Whereas if I just ignore it and let it grow, who cares? I don't think long hair on a man has the same stigma it had when I was young. When I was young, it was socially unacceptable to have long hair on a guy or to have a beard even back then. Standards have changed socially. I don't know what I'm doing for dinner tonight. Probably hot dogs. They're a comfort food for me. I know. I smoke cigarettes, I smoke pot, and I eat processed meat. Very unhealthful. Don't do as I do. Okay. I shouldn't be anybody's role model, in my opinion. Hopefully, this weekend they'll have some good news and they'll find this Nancy Guthrie. I'm just hoping and praying, you know. My father's 87. If anybody ever attacked him, I hesitate to think of what I could do. I guarantee you it would not be pretty. But hopefully the police will find her this weekend and save her and put the bad guys in jail. That's what I'm hoping for. But I'm telling you, I'm probably going to be on Google Maps later looking this crap up. I got to believe that she's within 50 miles of her home. I think for anyone to kidnap someone and have them prisoner, they're not going to be traveling any great long distance. They're at risk when they're mobile. So I think she's going to be within 50 miles of home. An hour drive. She's got to have food. She's got to have power and water. And it's got to be an abandoned property that is close enough to the fast food, but still secluded. Well, humans do some very heinous crimes from time to time. To lash out is human nature. But I think these guys are controlled by greed. They'll get so caught up in greed that their rational thinking will make a mistake. They're human beings. All human beings have weaknesses. All human beings have flaws. Personal opinion. Feel free to jump in the chat and disagree. This show, the people in the chat determine what we talk about. If you ever want to change the subject, feel free to jump in there. I can spin on a dime. I really have no script. I have no agenda with this show. I give total control of this show to the people in the chat, whether they want it or not. I'm not asking. I just turn over control. I've been doing this for 5 months without a script, without an agenda, just winging it. The channel's growing. I get likes occasionally. I get subscribers. I get viewing hours. I can't complain. YouTube sends me stickers telling me I'm doing a great job. The fact that I'm far from perfect is your proof. I'm not AI. AI don't smoke. But I like doing this show. I'm just trying to be reliable, be dependable, be here 5 days a week, 2 hours a day. I think most people only stay 10, 15, 20 minutes sometimes. I appreciate them. I appreciate all my viewers. I appreciate all my subscribers too. But I don't require anything of people. I don't think that's in my job description here. You know what I mean? I'm just a placeholder. I'm not trying to be famous, but I am used to being on camera my whole life. Every table game I ever dealt in Vegas had cameras on it. 8 hours a day, every week, I was on camera. I got used to it. Really doesn't bother me. The way I do this show, I equate it to a blind man that just bought a new house. I'm kind of feeling my way through it, trying not to walk into too many walls. When I decided to do this project, I told myself I got to do it for 3 years to make an honest attempt. I think if I want to take a day off once in a while, I can. I mean, I took Thanksgiving and Christmas off last year. I'll probably do the same this year. What do you expect for $1.298? It's a free show. I think that's one of the reasons why I like this show so much, is because I'm not chasing anybody down trying to tackle their wallet. I do need my channel to get monetized eventually, but that's so I can do other projects that might generate me some income, but not for this show. This show's always going to be free. I don't want to charge people money. I'm not going to put anything behind a paywall. Okay. That's not what I'm after. I like to meet people and find out what's on their mind, see what they want to talk about. I really don't have any ulterior motives. I'm not trying to control and manipulate people. I think if you watch TV, especially in the United States, it's all about control and manipulation. They're trying to scare you, to control you. That's why they keep showing you the same crimes over and over and over again. They want to use your fears to control you and to put you into smaller subgroups. That's my opinion. I mean, feel free to jump in the chat and voice yours. If you want to chat, you need to go to youtube.com and download the Discord app. It's free. According to my analytics, 85% of the people that watch this show watch it on TV. You've got to have your phone, iPad, or a laptop, something like that. in order to be able to chat. Well, I'm told that the latest TVs have the ability to chat built into them, but I haven't seen it, and I'm not telling anyone to run out and buy a brand new TV. To me, I got no problem with using another device. When I do get online and chat, I'm usually using my laptop here. Well, larger fonts, it's easier for me to read. I watch a guy named Mike Kimber, and he's the one I chat with the most. I don't know why. Well, I know why. He and I have a lot in common. We're both in Southwest Michigan, both single fathers, right? Ex-military, health issues, common ground. Lions fans, more common ground. I chat with him about the Lions. Sometimes I ask him questions. Sometimes I'm just throwing in my 2 cents, but yeah, his name's Mike Kimber. He's been on, I think maybe 7 years he's been online. He just hit 100,000 subscribers, bless his heart. I'm glad for him. But I'm more likely to chat with him. I watch Tom Grossi more than I watch him, but I don't chat with Tom Grossi. K-Son, hey, how's it going? What are you up to today? What part of the world are you in? What's on your mind? I enjoy talking to people, meeting people, finding out what their priorities are. I'd rather talk to a person about where they're from than to watch the news and find out the news from where they're from. I don't believe the news, whereas I believe the people. I enjoy doing this. It's fun. If I do come up with another project or two, I can probably increase my audience, but it's moving along. I'm in 3 different algorithms on YouTube. One for the live stream, that's one algorithm. Another for the shorts, and another for videos. I'm in all 3. I'm not really sure who they're advertising me to, who they're putting the show in front of, but I know that I've talked to people in, like 9 different countries around the world. I think that's exciting. Personal opinion, that's all I can offer. But I really enjoy meeting people and talking to them and giving them a chance to speak their mind publicly. I'm in the United States and I have freedom of speech. Some of you in other countries do not have freedom of speech, and I'd caution you, be careful of what you say in the chat. Do not get yourself into any trouble with your government. My government here they can go screw themselves, okay? Sorry. They don't scare me because I ain't doing nothing. America is different than a lot of places around the world. We have a lot more freedoms and a lot more accessibility, I guess. I like being able to speak my mind, but I do try to keep the show clean. I try not to curse a lot, you know. Well, it's bad enough that I'm on here smoking cigarettes. And I do smoke. It's the last bad habit I got left. I kind of like it. Health wise, I went to the doctor last year. I got scanned. I'm good. My body's not falling apart any faster than normal. At least not, based on my smoking. It might be falling apart based on my diet. Well, I like a lot of foods that are bad for you. I'm probably going to make myself a cake tonight. And I was thinking I'll eat cake while I watch the Super Bowl. Yeah, I really don't know how the weekend's going to go. I'm hoping that this Nancy Guthrie gets rescued. I'm really hoping that bad. Well, time will tell. But if you're in the Tucson area, look around. Find this woman, please. Save her. She doesn't deserve this shit. Crime is out there. It's 7% of our population is criminal. I saw a study back in the 70s, and what they said was no matter how many laws were passed, no matter how militarized our police departments got, they could not affect the real crime numbers. 7% of the U.S. population is what we can consider felony criminal. Throughout the 250 years of America, they've never gotten it up to 8%, and they've never gotten it down to 6%. It remains constant at 7%. I know you got these guys on TV lying to you. Sorry about that. It's not me. They're telling you, oh, crime's up. Oh, crime's down. No, it's not. It's a constant. I'm not talking about speeding tickets or jaywalkers, I'm talking about felony criminals. But if you watch the news in the United States, they want you to believe that there's a bad guy on every corner, and it's just not true. They are using your fears to divvy you up into subgroups. By subgroups, I mean they want to play you against one another. They want Christians on this side and Muslims on that side, or black on this side and white on that side, or Democrat versus Republican. They're all subgroups. We've got one planet. We've got one human race. No matter what goes wrong with the planet, the only ones that can fix it are the human race. The bears and mountain lions and jackrabbits and frogs aren't going to fix planet Earth. The only ones can fix it are the humans. One human race. Everything else is a subgroup. And they want to divvy you up into subgroups to get you to fight with one another. It makes you easier for them to control and manipulate you. Don't fall for it. One human race. That's all we got. All humans share one core. We're human beings. At the same time that we share that core, we are all unique individuals. The secret is to tolerate one another. You don't have to like one another. You don't have to agree with one another. But you do need to tolerate one another. Tolerate, not hate, tolerate. Okay? It's okay to disagree with someone. It's even okay to dislike someone. That's not a problem. But hatred? Hatred is when you add an uncontrolled fear to your dislike. And an uncontrolled fear is bad news. That is society's wrecking ball. Uncontrolled fear is never good. When you have uncontrolled fears, your rational thinking is tossed out the window. You cannot think rationally when your fears are in control. And your TV is using your fears to control you. They divvy you up into groups and they tell you, oh, that other group's out to get you. No, they're not. Are you sitting around plotting heinous crimes against your neighbor? I'm not. Sane people don't do this. But if you watch TV, oh, those Democrats are out to get you. Oh, those Republicans, they don't like you at all. You better strike first. No. Wrong. No, that's not true. Do Republicans and Democrats disagree? Yes, they do. That's nice. But that's not destructive. If your TV is telling you that if you're an American, your fellow American is your enemy, your TV is not your friend. It's not true. If you're an American, your fellow American is not your enemy. He's your best friend that you rely on every day, and you haven't even met him yet. You don't know his name. You rely on him for your convenience of life. I get up, I walk over, I hit my light switch, the power comes on. I don't know any of those guys that work at the power company, but I know I can rely on them every day to be there to do their job. And the second that my power goes out, they're on it. They're working to restore my power. I don't know who the hell those guys are. Do you? I know if I walk out to my kitchen sink, I turn on the faucet, clean drinking water comes out. I don't know any of those guys that work at the water company either. But I rely on them every day. And when my water goes out, they're on it. They're on the job. They're dependable. They're reliable. They're going to restore my water. I guarantee it. You are codependent on other human beings, whether you can realize it or not. All those other human beings give you your quality of life. I rely on them every day. I can't go to the restaurant without the people that work there. I can't go to the grocery store without the people that work there. I'm relying on them every day. I don't know their names. But I guarantee you, when the shit hits the fan around here, when we have a natural disaster, when we have a storm, when the floodwaters rise chin high, those neighbors that I've been told to hate, the neighbors I've been told that are out to get me, are the ones that are going to be standing shoulder to shoulder with me when we clean this mess up and put it all back together. When you're standing in that floodwater chin deep and a guy comes by in a boat and he's helping you out of the water, do you care whether he's a Democrat or a Republican? I don't think you do. It's not going to matter. Why? Because he's a human being and he's helping you. Reverse this scenario. You're the human being in the boat. I'm the human being that's standing in the chin high water. Are you going to help me? I think you are. Ultra, I owe you an apology, dear. I did not watch the cartoon last night, even though I told you I would. I got caught up watching Tragedy Tales. This is all on me. It's all my fault. I got high and I started down a rabbit hole with Tragedy Tales, and I was in there all night. Over the course of the weekend, I will watch some more of Smiling Friends. I swear to God. I know I swore yesterday too. My bad. Okay. I will do better. I can do better. Okay. I meant to watch it, and Crumbleina was going to come over, but she canceled. And then I got out shoveling snow and helping out my neighbors. And then I came in and I started watching Tragedy Tales, and I smoked a bowl. I appreciate you, dear. Thank you for letting me off the hook. Okay. Your kindness has not gone unnoticed. That's my new thing, is give kudos where kudos are due. I thank you for being an understanding person. I will try to watch a couple of episodes this weekend. I watched a Dairy Girls rerun last night late. All right. Well, I'm going to look up this weekend. I'm going to look up season 1, episode 4. I can handle it. It's not going to be too stressful for me. But I do appreciate and heed your warning. If that's the worst episode, I'll get it out of the way. Maybe it'll help me to identify the characters better. I'm going to try. But I do appreciate you and your patience. Do I need to change the hours of the show? You always get in here late. Should I adjust the time of the show? Well, I'm going to be watching for Pim. We got like 9 minutes left here. 8 minutes left here. I closed the show on you yesterday, and now I'm going to close it on you again today. Season 1, episode 3 is the one you like. Season 1, episode 4 is the one that's gory as hell. And I think I owe you at least to see both of those. All right. Well, I have HBO, and I think that's where I found it was on HBO Max. So I will endeavor to see. Well, I'll probably go all the way to episode 4. I know I've seen season 1, episode 1. So I need to watch 2, 3, and 4. That'll get me up to date, and it should be enough that I can separate the characters in my mind. But I'll get on it. I'll be a good boy, I swear. Scout's honor. I was never a scout, but my brother was. Oh. All right. Let me close the show here. My name's Ghost Mostly. I'm the host, Afternoon Chat. Afternoon Chat is Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The people in the chat determine what we talk about. They have control of the show. I'm just here to keep us from having dead air. Afternoon Chat is a free show. No midstream ads, no sponsors, no commercials of any kind. I'm not trying to chase you down and tackle your wallet. I'm not running for political office. The show has no script. It has no agenda. And I'm not coming out with a line of merch. I'm here so I can meet people and find out what's on their mind, give them a chance to speak. YouTube wants me to tell you to please like and subscribe the show. That will help us somehow, some way. I don't know how it works. We do need to follow the community guidelines established by YouTube. Other than that, all you can do wrong is not have a good time. When no one gets in the chat, we're stuck with wherever my mind wanders because I'm not going to stream dead air. But I want you all to know that you're welcome here. Your opinion matters. This is an inclusive channel. Our guest stars today, B Squared 82. K-Sun stopped in and said hi. Ultra Kenny fan. Okay. They were today's guest stars. We'll be back on Monday. You'll be welcome. This channel will always be an inclusive club, never an exclusive club. Your opinion matters. You don't have to chat, but if you want to, you're going to need the Discord app from YouTube. It is also free. According to my analytics, most people watch this show on TV, 85%. And they chat on their phone or an iPad or a laptop, some other device. I'm told that the latest TVs have chat capabilities, but I haven't seen one, and I'm not trying to get you guys to go buy new TVs. That would defeat the purpose of having a free show. Okay. I'm the host, Ghost Mosley, and it is my opinion that if you're nice to everyone all of the time, all of that niceness will come back to you tenfold. I preach to tolerate, not hate. Tolerate your fellow human being. Try to be patient. Try to be understanding. Try to be compassionate. All human life has value. An intrinsic value that we need. Everyone matters, and they have a right to speak their mind. I appreciate all the people in the chat today. I appreciate all the viewers. I'll tell you to find some joy tonight. Be safe. Be happy. Find someone to love. I dare you. Personal opinion is all I can offer, but I do give you the opportunity to share yours. With that said, I'll see you guys on Monday at 3 Eastern Standard Time. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Go New England, go. There's something I've never said before. I'll see you guys later.